Hello, my juicy co-creators. Lilou here on the Juicy Living Tour. I am no longer in London, but there's the same fog that in London, actually. Right. I'm here with Tom, that you probably recognize because he's doing those crazy, amazing, beautiful videos on astrology all over YouTube and the internet, and coordinating and just manifesting so many beautiful things for the planet, and very relevant at particular times, especially right now. So this is why this video is being uploaded. Some things happening with the planets that really are shaking us up, and we felt with Tom that was appropriate to just go ahead and do this special edition just for us, because this is timely. And so I will be uploading the rest of the videos from London, and after London I went back to France, and and now I've been in California for 5 days and done some crazy amazing videos that you will see, including with Jack Canfield. I've always wanted to meet. So many things have been manifested, and now we are in San Francisco in front of the Golden Gate Bridge that is really under those clouds.
Right. Because many people are feeling this on a subterranean, collective, unconscious level. It's like the waters are being stirred, like a volcano is ready to erupt, ready to blow. And this is just like, it's exciting and exhilarating if you have the capacity, the container to hold the energy. Then you can direct it. But it's such a powerful feeling coming up, like it's like a Kundalini awakening, and so it can overwhelm our conscious capacity to to hold ourselves and control ourselves. So it's a time that people are feeling a need to break out, to break free, to express themselves, to feel their feelings, and there's a sensitivity to all the limiting factors, bosses, jobs, relationships, partners, anything that's in my way or stopping me from, I have this urge to release. What's blocking it? What's stopping it? What's holding me back? And if it's external, there can be a lot of anger, blame, bitterness. There can be a lot of victim. Oh, I'm just not feeling, able or strong enough or old enough to really be who I am or live the life that I want. So it's like everybody's hitting their own walls and their own limits and needing to use that emotion, that power, transform that fear into action, and not let it completely overwhelm you like a tsunami. I mean, that's the downside.
So how do you deal with that fear? How do you transmute it?
I've done some acting in the past, and there's that stage fright when they open the curtain and you're like, yeah. And the thing is to just move, act, do, go. Take that and turn it into action rather than waiting. It builds and it gets worse and worse and worse, and that's how you get overwhelmed, right? So it's like letting it out, releasing a little bit at a time, so that it really, it turns into action.
I felt this overwhelmed feeling the past days, I must say, and I'm sure a lot of co-creators around the world felt that too. And personally this morning, I felt like locking in, like lock the outside, like lock and inside, to be focused inside, inward, to just go ahead and do the moves that are necessary, but not be overwhelmed by all those kind of thoughts that are not even ours, is it?
It's just so important now to breathe.
Breathe.
Relax. And breathe and release and let it go. You cannot attach to an outcome or to a result. I've got to be there at this time, or this has to look this way, or it has to happen today. Or if you lock into, results and endings, it's going to create all this kind of challenge. Yeah.
But focus though, that's what I meant by just saying focus and centered.
Yes, yes.
Regardless of what's happening around us, no?
Which is exactly, now the sun is just moving into Leo, sign of the lion. the king or the queen of the jungle, which is centered, it's the solar plexus. Yeah, Leo rules this heart chakra, and it's just this ability to be strong and to be centered in my own creative force, and to be the sun is the center of the solar system.
Maybe that's why I felt that way, because I'm a Leo. So, and I felt this strong energy. I'm like, where is this coming from? Why am I feeling so centered here? That's what I meant by locking in, but that's not really the feeling. Yeah, it's this heart centeredness.
Like our hearts are blossoming or opening like flowers, and there's just this, like the bright sun, there's this, like we're vulnerable. We want to open. This is a time to open. Is it safe to open? What's going to hit me if I do open? There's all this trepidation. That is part of a much bigger, obviously, evolutionary change.
Yeah. But tell us about the big picture. What has been happening actually since the 21st of December? A lot of us have felt this acceleration since then, huh?
Yes. Yes. I see that as the end of the Mayan calendar was the beginning of this new time where we are responsible for creating what is going to be. So it's like it's a lot more on our shoulders. It's a lot more on our part. Yes, to become so much an intrinsic active element in the creative force process, So it's this Uranus-Pluto square is going on since the summer of 2012 until the spring of 2015. And this has its seeds in 1965-66 when Uranus and Pluto were conjunct. And this is a time then of manifesting outwardly the seed that was sown during that time period. Some of us were born around that time period and are now stepping up and stepping into creating these realities, which involves, obviously, staying within your own power enough to face, to confront, and to revolutionize the external institutions and power structures that have been in place through the patriarchy the last 6,500 years. This is a huge turning point with the masculine and the feminine, the patriarchy and the matriarchy. And this shift is now bringing the feminine energy. And that feminine energy is our internal feeling, lower chakra, the dark. The masculine is the upper light, rational and logical. It's time for us to be integrating the light with the dark, the masculine with the feminine, the reasonable, rational, logical with the chaotic, passionate energy that's juicy. It's like we have to find a way of integrating our juiciness. That's why you're so great.
Thank you.
You're on your juicy tour. I mean, it's perfect. This is a time, yes, where this can well up within us. And if we fear chaos and we fear change and we try to control and we try to rationalize and make sense of it all, we're going to suffer.
Suffer a lot, and some people go all the way up to wanting to not live anymore. I mean, what can we do to not get there, not get to this place? Does the planet even tell us, gives us some clues about how to deal with that?
Absolutely. I work a lot with Black Moon Lilith, which is a very powerful feminine archetype from the matriarchy, a very ancient handmaiden of Inanna, the goddess of love in ancient Sumeria. She's been exiled, rejected, and it's time for her to return. So this is a very powerful feminine archetype. And, of course, Pachamama, Mother Nature, the trees, the earth, the medicine of the earth, the waters, the oceans, the dolphins. It's really, this is our mother. This is our source of nurturing, of protection, of feeling comfortable in our bodies on this planet. This is the grounding energy that's going to take us through the hurricanes, storms, tornadoes is like, lay low, get down, lay on the earth, smell the grass and the flowers, and you know. So I work very much with body, exercise, massage, you know, hot tubs and swimming and hiking and being in nature is very...
Getting into the body, huh? Getting back into our body. Yeah.
Bring this...
Descend.
Exactly. It's come down out of your head. Yeah. The head wants to go 100 miles an hour, and your emotions go 5. But you know, it's time now to balance these two, and that involves coming out. Particularly, I would say, Western civilization is far more up and out, yeah, and needs to ground, come in, come down. Yeah. But I think it's true of all humanity.
So you can tell with your studies of the planets how what are the different continents or areas all around the world, like, you know, Europe or Asia or Americas, how all this is evolving, because we heard a lot of the Kundalini coming from the south and that it has moved around the planet, you know, at different locations. And as I'm traveling around the world, I meet, you know, the Mayas, and I go to Yucatan, or I go to Japanese people, as I did a month ago, or to Quebec. And everybody seems really saying, this is coming from here, and the heart of the planet is here, and we're going to make this move, transforming the world. But it's happening. But I'm not even hearing from everywhere around the world. So tell me what's going on. What's your sense of that, of the awakening?
Wow. I think it's the whole planet. I think Gaia is just coming alive. The whole ring of fire around the whole Pacific Ocean. Yeah, all these volcanoes are waking up, and it's all over. It's everywhere. Yeah. I do feel that there are different planetary energies at different times, working through the ley lines and different, you know, aspects of the planet. Yeah. You know, there's like vortexes, and I'm sure you've been to a number of them. Yeah. Yeah.
In Sedona or in Kauai, you spend quite a lot of time in Hawaii, don't you?
Yes, the Big Island is my favorite.
With the dolphins.
Yes, and Pele. I used to live on
Pele reports, huh? Weekly you do those Pele reports?
That's the Pele report came from the Big Island, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I used to watch her float at night outside my window. It's very beautiful.
So how do you, as a man, being able, because I get that we have all of us, the feminine and the masculine energy, but how were you able to not master that, but to be comfortable with both of those energies inside of you? To bring them into balance? Or are you still working on it?
It's endless. Oh boy. Yeah, well, I focus on the I Ching. The masculine is creative and the feminine is receptive. And the light and the dark, it's just like give and take. I'm working so much, I'm learning to receive, which is feminine. I think we all can learn to receive. And we've been expected and judged and demanded to produce and give, and made to feel guilty and shameful if we don't. And that is one thing that we could all work on changing. Yeah. So receiving, it's also listening. I listen better than I used to. I'm working on listening. And that is, and then listening to all levels, yeah, not just sound, but listening to the psychic, listening to the intuitive, listening to the mother, listening to the ocean, inwardly listening. Yeah. So I'm just like focusing on all of these feminine aspects and characteristics. You know, the dark, spending more time awake in the dark. The dark is feminine. So feeling, going in, spending time in the dark, and of course, dancing and music and singing is also this, associated with Venus and Neptune. In the astrology is also feminine, yeah?
Could you tell us about the future transits, or what we're coming into, where are we going? Because we just spoke of what's happening today, but do you have a few things that you would like to share with us today?
I can talk about astrology forever.
And we like when you do that, so please feel comfortable to do so.
I do that all the time. Now it's like all I do. But okay, so this is a huge Jupiter just went into Cancer to conjoin with Black Moon Lilith, and Mars is there also right now. This is very powerful because it's coming up. Right now it's in a grand trine with Saturn and Neptune. But it's moving forward to oppose Pluto.
Okay.
And they are both squaring Uranus.
Which means?
Okay, and I'm going to go just a tiny bit more of astrology
Yes.
because they go forward. He's going to go up to 20 degrees, then go retrograde and come back in December, and then come forward again. And by that time, Mars has moved into a grand cross. So next spring, there's a link between now and next March and April and May. This is like the birth. This is like the seed. Let's just say this is not the birth. This is the conception. Now is a time of conceiving, of really inwardly tapping into this potential life, this potential reality, this potential love that we can experience in our lives. And this seed being sown now is going to be working over this next 9 months to birth itself, to grow, to gestate. So now is a very significant time to be pure, to be true, to be honest with ourselves, with who we are, with what we want, with where we're, with what is, so that the creation is pure, so that the creation is an accurate reflection of what we truly want. So if we hold back now, yeah. If we avoid this or deny or ignore that that's real, you know what? That's going to come back in the next 9 months and wreck our potential creation. So it's like incumbent upon us to be very awake and identify what is limiting, what is supporting, what is blocking, and be honest with ourselves. And sometimes that's really hard. My sweetheart is blocking me. I would just as soon not deal with it, right? But if we don't deal with it, then it's going to have ramifications. There's going to be consequences to that. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yes. So there's a lot. This is part of, I think, of what's people intuitively know. Your feeling, your intuition tells you this is not right. This person needs a good talking to, or this job needs changing. But our fear that we're not enough, or we won't be heard, or that we can't change it, or so we have to overcome our own conditioning in order to make the significant changes now, so that over these next 9 months we experience a blossoming instead of, I don't want to go into the, obviously everything's got an upside and a downside. Yeah, the downside is if we don't, we're going to continue, and it's going to intensify this feeling of helplessness, of victimization, of darkness, of hopelessness and despair. And
control of misery.
There's misery, there's a lot of misery going on now, and it has a lot to do with, the Bible calls it the Judgment Day. There's all the different religions have all these different ways of looking at these times. And these times, it's not so much about judgment, so much as about choice. We have a lot of choices to make right now. The choices are important, and the choices are going to determine future incarnations and what path our soul, what dimension our soul is going to be experiencing in the future. And these choices are limiting us and holding us for much longer and in more powerful, deeper ways than we consciously realize.
Tell us about those different dimensions and how this operates when we make a choice, a healthy choice, a choice from the soul.
Well, we have an opportunity now. It's actually indicated in the pyramids in Giza. Yeah, there's actually the way that the light shines down in through this entrance tunnel, is that there's then when it hits 2012, it's a calendar down there, and the passageway splits to those who, at this time in 2012, 2013, is this time of either continuing in a third dimensional reality of separation, which is separation is, yes, this polarized reality. Good, bad, right, wrong, yes, no, black, white, masculine, feminine, yeah? And good and evil. Staying locked within this polarized consciousness or moving and ascending, yes, into this unified field consciousness of oneness, of infinite interaction, where we can really combine and unite and feel into each other in very powerful ways. To co-create something that is even, outside the phenomena that we currently are familiar with. There's many other manifestations, levels, dimensions of experiencing. And this is, I don't want to say kindergarten, but there's, three. Figure that science has come up with 12. They've proven 12 dimensions. So even if you take 3 out of 12, right? And just imagine the difference of a dimension, right? The dimension, basically it's height, width, depth, and time. Think of where you go from, this dimension of, measuring space to then you add time. Well, just imagine that then the fourth and the fifth dimension, it's beyond exponential. Yeah. I don't know if I'm explaining it.
You are.
But it's just that we have, our physical senses have a limited capacity to comprehend the magnificent, outrageous, phenomenal life that we can have flow as part of.
I think we feel we feel it right now. Hence, those fears are coming up.
Yeah. Yes, because here we are and this is my astrology, right? We are infinite spiritual beings having an earthly experience. And when they cut the umbilical cord and we separate, we come into an ego. The ego is the control tower to keep this separate body alive. So our ego lives in separation, and it controls our mind, which thinks in positive, negative, right, wrong, good, bad. And it's all about protection, separation, keep this body alive so I can have a third dimensional experience. And it's a very small part of our total self. So as we move out of ego, as we move into our infinite spiritual self, the ego is totally frightened that our full experience of self is going to blow apart the body, or have an impact that it cannot manage, control, comprehend, or deal with. Yeah.
So again, just going back into, because I feel it's waking up, just hearing that, waking up a lot of stuff for people. How do we deal with that again? How do we deal with these times?
I mean, I do Kundalini yoga, meditation, chanting, moving the energy. Yeah. It's, I use mantras, repeating mantras and singing. So you're moving energy with your lungs, or physically, is also getting out there, moving your physical body, moving your, just moving energy.
Taking action too. Huh?
Yes.
Not based on fear, though.
Yeah, I think making love is really probably the best. You know, stir it up, shift it, change it, embrace it. Rather than like be overwhelmed, go into it and enjoy this adventure. Just
Judge it.
Approach it as an adventure, right? And an adventure can go either way, but it wouldn't be an adventure if it didn't have that potential to go out of control.
It seems like there is also this that we have to kind of jump off of the cliff. We have to do this. We have to go into the unknown. We're called to follow our intuition also, not knowing exactly how it's going to look like, but follow that. Is that something that you see in the astral?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is Uranus moving through Aries. It went in there last year, and it's going to stay there until 2018, actually the spring of 2011. And your Aries is instinct. It is our body, the wisdom of our body. Our body knows way more than it's been given credit for. And our instinct, we are spiritual beings in an animal body. And we've been taught that this separation, you can't be spiritual if you're physical, material, whatever, sexual, yeah? And there's been this whole separation through the age of Pisces. We're coming now into this age of Aquarius for the next 2,000 years, and it is absolutely about integrating our instinct, our body, our knowing, and trusting that, yes, without all the explanation, rationalization, you know what everybody does. Yeah? So it does feel like, yes, we're kind of groping in the dark without knowing, but you know, you do know. You do know. And it's just get over it.
Yeah, we have it all inside. We have the answers inside, huh?
That's all conditioning from external, whether it's Illuminati or whatever, but it's just that we've been told for generations through this whole patriarchal time that authority is external. And it's time for us to regain our author of our own lives, our own authority. And this is, it's just self-trust.
Yeah. And making decision not based on facts.
Yeah. Oh God, no.
not based on an analysis, not really logical either. Such a different change. It's a paradigm shift. I mean, this is totally functioning with new tools here. Yes. I mean, we're all like kind of, what's going on? We're like babies here.
That is the main paradigm shift. And I swear there's probably going to be some scientific studies that are going to show more and more and more how flexible, how mutable, how changeable all of these laws are. Like they used to say the DNA. Oh, you're born with your DNA. That's your genetics. Blah, blah. You can't change that. Well, yes, you can. And they used to say that you can't change your brain cells. Your brain is never going to change. Now they're finding that you can. And it's just like, you know what? Things that we thought were fixed are not. The entire universe, all of existence, is constantly changing, and it's the same with the rock wall we're sitting on.
And we could create a juicy reality.
Yeah, that's right. If we listen to Lilou.
And Tom, this was delicious. Thank you so much for this wonderful conversation. Thank you.
Thank you for, thanks for coming and meeting me. All right. Yeah.
Big kisses. I hope we could see a bit of the Golden Gate. No, just a little bit. But we have this beautiful Golden Gate. It's like a bridge. It's maybe not so, it's important. The bridge is, we don't see it. It's foggy right now, but doesn't mean it's not there.
Yes, there you go. Perfect. What an analogy.
Big kisses, my delicious co-creators. Enjoy the ride.